Morning, morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh no,
Yeah,
YouTube. YouTube can't hear me. Should be able to hear me. Or am I being trolled? Ty, can you hear me? Hi, Richard. I'm back now. Okay, don't know what's going on. All right, now we've got to be careful here. One, we've got to, especially in some of these US indices, is that we had a huge sell-off on Friday. Huge sell-off. We've got earnings. We've got Q1 earnings coming out. I need to look at the calendar to see what's coming out today. But Friday we had some earnings with the banks. Everyone will pass the earnings generally, but how much they pass by is going to lead to confidence for like quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. At the moment, there is you guys have heard of buybacks? Is anyone unsure what buybacks are?
I'm not sure what they are.
Yeah, I'm unsure too.
Okay, so buybacks. So you have like different times of year when businesses, they can buy back shares. So basically like what they do is, say one of the major ones that we had, if you're buying back shares, you theoretically are reducing the amount of shares available. So the value of each share then would go up. That makes sense. We had a huge one with Meta that, remember when they exploded to the upside a few months back? So when they released their earnings for Q4, they've never paid a dividend, and the dividend is basically like an interest payment on how many shares you owe, and that's really positive for investors. They love that. So at the same time, when they announced their earnings back over here, what they released was that for every person that had a single share, they were going to get 50 cents, I believe, per share, and at the same time they were going to buy back shares. So that means that not only did the value of shares go up, but everyone that held or holds shares start getting an interest payment on those. So it also leads to a demand. So we saw Meta at the time this was the biggest increase in market cap ever. It went from just underneath 400 and opened and closed on that day $60 per share higher, and they've got there's a lot of shares out there. So this added, I think, something like 200 billion to the company's value or something like that in one day. Like that's crazy when you think about it. That's like more than some country's GDP that they just added on one day. So the buybacks are really powerful. So when they do buybacks, typically it does prop the business up. And you can imagine, like, from a transfer of wealth, if businesses can secure low levels of, say you were the CEO, and you had access through corporations and banks to obtain cheap levels of funds in terms of like loans and business loans from banks. If you could borrow a bunch of funds and then use them to buy back shares, and you own like a good stake in the company, then personally this CEO that made a business decision for that business to borrow the funds, they use those funds to commit some buybacks of shares, and then those shares will go up in value, and the CEO's personal ownership of this company will then also increase. You can see how that works. So you can really see how, like, as a transfer of wealth, the stock market and CEOs can do these things. Now, at the same time, there's only windows where you can do buybacks, and currently you're not in a window. So that window's been closed for a bit while they do all the earnings and things. So until that window gets reopened again, you may see one of the drivers of that helps promote and keep on the stock market pushing up is you've got one less driver to help the market continue going higher in terms of like valuations. So while that window is closed, there's no opportunity for buybacks. So we may see market correct a little bit. That's just one thing. That's just one factor. Other factor is that interest rates are still high. We've got inflation proving to be sticky. They got a bit of a realization with CPI last week. 3, we've had threat of war over the weekend and unrest in the Middle East. And if unrest occurs in the Middle East and that leads to a spike in oil prices, then that's also very negative for stocks. So I'm very cautious about any further legs higher based on fundamentals. And one thing though that does make this a bit murky is it's kind of annoying that last Friday got the longs for here to here. So we did take this in the stream. We did trade up from basically here up to here, and then took a little sell from here down, but I thought we were going to have another leg higher, so I didn't actually hold that sell, and it proved to be left a lot of pips on the table. It was a pretty clear area to be looking for sells from based on the 4-hour chart. Okay, we've got lovely descending channel through here. Really beautiful sort of reaction, quite nicely anticipated. Actually it's not here, but he was calling it as well, and I was really hoping that would get that sell off from here. I was really hoping we'd get a wick like that. Now, what we need, 3 things for a confirmed break to the downside is, if we zoom out just a touch, we've got an area of where we've accumulated, so lovely accumulation. Price has come down on the back of the CPI news, where price really dropped. We grabbed liquidity from underneath this accumulation area. We had a lovely little pullback, bounce back up into a deeper price point of interest, and then I wanted to see price close underneath that wick. It never did. So that's what leads me to just being a little bit cautious of this level, because that bloody thing never closed below it. It broke it, so I want to lean towards taking sells, but for this purposes of this this scalping session, for the next hour, it makes sense. That's the difficult thing. Does it make sense to be looking for sells in the next hour, or should we be looking for sells from a deeper price area? Of course, we should be looking for deeper sells from deeper areas. But I would have loved to have seen a break lower. So whether we push up, I just don't know how much we push up, and it kind of sucks that we just watch price go up and up and up and up and up and up and up, and then think, well, you know, maybe it gets to the end of the hour and a half, 2 hours that we have here for this stream, and if we just watch it go up for an hour and a half, then it would have been, you know, I do like trying to get a trade in this hour and a half to remove the pressure of trying to find a trade later on when I'm got more commitments. But if you're looking for sales only, then really look to the left here and think, where does it make sense to be looking for sales from? One thing is that this here was a complete liquidity grab where it pushed up to down. And where did that liquidity grab start from? Well, you could argue it started from this liquidity candle. So maybe this liquidity candle, just on the 15-minute time frame, maybe this is an area that price would struggle to break. We've got liquidity from above these highs as well. So if we saw a reaction at this point, at this pink line, and price, I know we've got clean candles here, which makes things difficult. I'll look higher as well to see if we can see something. But if we do a liquidity grab where we wick up into this area, have a reflexive pullback, and then start getting another reaction at this point, failing to break the high of the liquidity grab, then what I'll be doing is I'll look to sell to try sweep some of this liquidity that we've been building up, and I'll try hunt that idea. So I think it makes sense for a trade idea for now, is just to see what happens at this remaining line, to see if we get a liquidity grab and then we see like a resistance created. I wouldn't mind that. If it keeps on driving higher up, let's check the other time frames. 30 minutes, maybe this area as well. This candle tried to be a 30-minute liquidity candle, which just got negated straight away. So that could be another little zone of interest. I'll change the color so it doesn't confuse with some of the other things I've got. Oh, no, I'll leave it. Screw it. 45 minutes. Doesn't quite make as much sense. got a liquidity candle on the 45 minute, a bearish one. That's up in that zone as well. I'll make that a different color. So I'm looking for sells. It's just where we get those sells from. That's the thing.
Can I ask a quick question? The purple line you've got, is that New York midnight?
The one that was on the other time frame?
Yeah.
It was the Tokyo fix, so that's 2 a.m. Tokyo Tokyo time. 2 a.m. UK time, sorry, UK time.
What's the relevance of that?
Not so much for German, it's just part of the indicator on gyms. It's more for gold, is that at that time of day, the Tokyo, you've got US dollars fixed at a specific rate for until the London fix, which is at 4 p.m. London time. And when they fix the US dollars, all business exchanges, that when you go in, if you make like a purchase online, it's tied in with that price that was set at that time.
Yeah.
And
okay.
so when price moves away from that line, let's just say this is the line, and that you'll be buying whenever you make it a purchase. Say you buy something from Amazon, whatever, they'll give you an exchange rate, and that's what the rate is set at. But if they get a whole bunch of clients that keep on buying and stuff, and the banks giving you that rate, as price gets further away and they trade amongst themselves at different rates, there's going to be a settlement that they need to do. And so you'll find that price often will find its way back to that agreed price so that they can settle the orders. So it's like a little way that the banks can arbitrage, where they can buy high and sell low to buy low and sell high to customers.
Right. Okay.
There's a study session on it in the G Drive.
Right.
Price is already dipping into that zone.
Yeah, I want to see now.
Working 1 hour if you.
Yeah, I want to see if price fails to close higher. If it comes down, I want to see it pull back, and I want to see price fail to break higher and then start to break down, and then I'd say that this was just a buy to sell. But at the moment, I don't want to buy, what do we call it? A rising bayonet.
You're on the end of it.
Yeah, I don't want to get poked into a sell.
Really?
So we're going to keep an eye. Now, so we've got another zone, little accumulation here, which was a 30-minute. This 30-minute candle, which was, this is kind of, you lose the size because of how big these other candles are, but this is engulfed like an outside candle. So this area could represent, decent liquidity above here. So as long as nothing's closing above this level, based on the 1 hours, I still like these levels. Doesn't give me much more. 2 hours. Go.
Nice 2 minute close already. No, it's only a single 2 minute close, but
3 hours, 4 hours. Okay. Yeah, let's see what happens here. So I've got a few zones that if this one fails to hold, then can target some higher ones. Buys are already gone, so I'm not looking for buys from here unless we get a closure above here, and then it's going to be a breakout buy, which I don't like. I don't like the idea of breakout buys, but may have to adapt. But I like sells from one of these zones. So 4 minutes looking like it's about to come to a close as like a lovely little, looks pretty nice reaction at this point. See if we can close like that. 3 minutes, didn't close above the high, starting to, can we close on? No, not going to close under. Oh, maybe 3 minute can close under. 4 minutes now come to a close. Yeah. So the question is this the retest? Hasn't had the reflexive pullback. We haven't had the retest of the pullback yet. Of US dollars to stockpile some before you know, maybe stuff really does hit the fan. So it wouldn't surprise me to see a leg down before that going up. That's why I don't want to jump into buys just yet with gold. And the volatility that gold is, even if it did come down to these levels, you can't, like, it's pretty hard to hold something hundreds of pips, because gold's not an easy play, not an easy trade to hold if it's going to drawdown. So I'd rather just wait for clearer signs. And right now, I don't really see any clear signs that price is about to go up without going down first. That makes sense. That's why I'm just a little bit cautious with that one. Okay, so we're getting this pullback now on the German. People that jumped in early on it would be benefiting from, you know, roughly 20 pip reaction from the zone we flagged. I'd be securing something at some stage, like maybe even like, I don't know, around here. I think that would be a good way to start your week, because the chances of it doing like a complete sell-off like this, whilst it can happen, it's kind of sucks to hope that happens and then have price come up, because I dare say it will retest your entry, and retesting your entry when you've been in profit and it hasn't and you haven't secured anything, doesn't feel good. Neither does taking, neither it wouldn't feel good either if it just drops. and you've secured so early. Like I felt that on Friday. But taking something's better than taking nothing. Dead Steps put a buy order a few seconds ago before the close. Oh, you did on gold. Beautiful. Yeah, that's good. That is good. A way that gold can just rally without having that pullback is if the Japanese decide to intervene, because price has just gone up and up and up and up, and if price just continues to go up, imagine if it just keeps on pushing up, and the Japanese do actually, I think, was it Bruce Lee? Yeah, you're saying that you read something that they said at one, like they'll defend 155.
Yes, on NHK, the Japanese TV, they're saying the Bank of Japan will intervene at 155.
So, if it does get up to 155, then that means US dollar's already gained some strength, which means that would see gold. Like, depending how strong gold is, that does mean that we, at least US dollar's giving strength. So maybe that could lead to US dollar staying, like, not US dollar dropping, not gold dropping, but maybe the strength of the US dollar just stops gold from really rising, and it could just stay consolidating here and still seeing US yen get weaker and weaker and weaker. But if Japan intervenes and puts like sells some of their treasuries and puts like US dollars into the market, then we could see US weaken with the intervention, and then we see gold rally. So if that's the case, I'd love to be on those buys for gold with that happening. But I'm just a little bit cautious getting into something too early with gold, just because I do see a little bit of cross currents. Now German's looking lovely, man. Getting close to an area to secure. And start your Monday off really nicely. 15 minutes into the London Open, and should be around 30 pips up. Have executed on this. Yeah, nice. There's steps, got that gap. That like how many pips was that? There's a lot of pips on gold. Eddie, you got that as well, didn't you? Got 80 odd pips in a minute.
Yeah, breaking the low, and she just dropped.
Yeah, you got the down. So you had a good weekend, haven't you? Saw the Max Holloway fight, and then you got gold on Monday morning. Oh, Sunday night. No, Sunday morning.
Didn't expect it so quick, but it's put the TP on, and before I knew it, it hit it.
Nice. All right, beautiful. Now, who's in this trade?
I just exited.
Yeah, great. Good work. Don't know if Data Saving Things thought gold open at 9. No, open at 10. Currencies open at 9. gold's an hour later. Currencies opened at oh no, you're right, they opened at 7, didn't it? No, wait. $11. Oh yeah, no, gold should have opened at 8. You're right. Yeah, 8 o'clock it should have opened. Currencies opened at 7 Sydney time. Gold now opens at 8. Bipster, what mark is this? This is the German 40. But we covered gold just before. Yeah, it's at 8 at the moment. Gotta get my head around all the different changes. Where did you get in on this, Justin? Did you wait for one of these lower time frames to close?
Yeah, basically it sort of did the sweep. Had another little green candle and then an engulfer on the lower time frame, and then I got in there.
And you sold from here, closed here?
Yeah, 28 pips I think it was.
Yeah, that's really good, man. That's excellent. Who didn't close? Or who didn't secure? Because this is the problem. Is when you don't secure, I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling when it comes back to entry, which it does. Now, can we double dip? Go again. It depends if we get another rejection. Is this the retest? If the retest can end and we get another, like a double rejection, then a support should break. Because if this higher low failed to make a higher high, higher close, then what's next is a deeper liquidity grab. One minutes gave you a great entry, but then you would have had taken on 1 minute. I don't want to do that. 2 minute, not really. 3 minutes is it looks like it's if you're waiting for a confirmation of the candle closing, then it's dropped. For a scalp, you're entering basically at this little support, which is still not broken. In your resistance, you're quite far away from your resistance, so that starts impacting your risk reward. If it does, sometimes when it moves like this, so far away, you're better off not chasing it, because if it does break the low, the second break means that it'll probably drive a lot lower, and there'll be other opportunities. And all of this price action, this is it's the same price action on higher time frames. It just on the low time frames, why it's nice to watch these lower time frames is because price action moves faster. But it's not for everyone's cup of tea. Just what I was thinking of sell for around 1809.6 as a previous resistance. Yeah, I've got this zone. As long as nothing's closing above here, I would say that you're pretty safe looking for sells. But with every sell, always mark up when you think, when I'm wrong on this trade. And that would be if price is really comfortably closing above here, like push up, don't mind if it does that, but closing above a second break, I would say I'm wrong. Problem is though, if you look for areas that are so high up here as well, price has moved a lot already today. So when price moves a lot, then it just gets harder and harder to keep on pushing up, and it's less likely you get into that trade. What do you guys think of the swing ideas yesterday?
Yeah, it's good. I think I'm going to try and sort of add that in so that when I'm, working and I'm not at the charts, I can have something else going on.
Yeah, I think that's the plan.
Yeah.
Did you post those somewhere, Hayden? I only got the first part of the session on the drive.
Yeah, the links in the Discord, right next to each other.
Oh, sorry. I'll check it out.
I created a new folder in the Google Drive where I'll just keep all those outlooks.
It's a shame I didn't take that Euro Yen trade I was talking about.
Oh yeah, Euro went up.
I actually saw it open because it was a bit late, and I just looked, and price gapped down when it opened down into my zone.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not used to trading at that time. Like, I'm not used to sort of reading that and seeing whether that constituted a dip into my zone or not, or whether it was just a a gap aberration, and it would do something weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about taking it because it was right there, and then I thought, I don't know what that means.
Well, it makes sense because you know what we're saying. Well, like for anything, it would make sense to have like at least the pullback.
Yeah.
So whether this keeps on going up, really going to depend on the yen.
I guess I meant that I marked out points of interest for liquidity gathering further down, and it gapped down into that zone. It kind of jumped over those points of liquidity, and I wasn't sure whether that would mean it's already done its job, and as I thought it would continue to go up from that point, or whether it would go up and like down again, because it's that gap or that market open might mean something different. I don't know, because I don't trade at that time normally.
It's moved a lot. It's moved from the low to the high, already 135 pips.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it sucks. Missing that.
We'll worry about that.
You could have all these best laid plans, and then the gap just screws everything. You're like, oh, what do I do now?
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm glad that my assessment was good.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty hard to... Yen's so freaking weak.
Did you see my breakdown?
What's that?
You see my yen, euro yen breakdown?
Oh, no, not yet. I was out all day. As soon as we finished, was had to get Maddie ready. And then we were in Manchester.
I'm back in a pound Aussie swing trade money.
Long?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We were saying about pound weakness, but Aussie's weak as hell as well. So.
Oh, Aussie's going to be weaker. So I think, yeah, Aussie's. There's so many cases for Aussie to be weak here. One, you've got just the interest rate differential doesn't help them. Two, if interest rates stay higher and threat of war, there's going to be less money to spend on construction development, so that's going to impact our export sector. So yeah, it's going to be pretty hard for Aussie to turn it around without global optimism. So yeah, pretty tough. Aussie's in a bit of a tough situation. All right, so the 15 minutes closed. Struggling to break through here yet. We've done the pullback. So we've done the leg up, grab liquidity. We've done the pullback. Now we really need to see something fail to close and start breaking structure to the downside. So whilst we've got like that little pullback and we've got this wick low here, we're still contending with the volume from this big candle. We're getting good signs of it. But is this just, it's holding here? We could just do, we need to wait and see. Paul, did you find that link?
I'll look for it as soon as I stop looking for my entry here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it's there. Sorry, I didn't check Discord. I was just I was looking in the study section of the drive, and there was only one file there.
Yeah, okay. So, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Here. This is the link straight to it.
Cheers.
Right.
7-minute candles looking very rejective.
Yeah.
Oh.
Break.
Hang on,
Break. break. Ivan, similar to Wednesday's price action, but today we have no wick on the UK Open. Can't see any manipulation in the lower time frame. From the upside, Ivan, to suggest going down further. Yeah, oh, you mean, remember, yeah, that's what I think you're saying. It was that day, wasn't it? When I was like, I was pretty confident. And which day was it? Last week. That was a real prick of a day for that London session. Where's, I think it was this one. Yeah, it was Monday last week. Oh, it was, yeah, exactly a week ago. Real nasty when I was like, no bottom wick, yep, trade down to it. And the thing never came back. And then again today, no bottom wick, straight up. So last week, which was a bit annoying, was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If London went up, it eventually just kept on grinding higher. Had pullbacks along the way, but it just kept on grinding higher. It never did a up to like a proper buy to sell. And then Friday it did. What are my thoughts on NASDAQ? I like to trade that in New York, not London. London gave a good move last Friday. But most of the times, I'll show you. So most of the time, most of the volatility comes in the New York session. So I prefer to like just see what London does and then let New York bring the volatility. But last Friday we had a really great move down, which is a bit of a shame to have missed. But it's just such an up and down affair. So I'd be leaning to, well, because of the buyback window being closed and with this threat of war, I would also be leaning to sells. One thing though I can't comment on, because I haven't looked just yet, is the order when these businesses are going to be announcing their earnings for Q1. If there's some, like we could get some surprises. Let me just bring this in another window to the side, but I'll see what's on the calendar. Because if you've got like a bunch of companies that in the NAS and they announce some earnings before market open and they come in really good, then we could see NAS rally up higher. So I need to hold my comments on NAS until I know a bit more. But overall, NAS is kind of struggling to for the last like couple of weeks. It's really struggling to break up any higher, but you know, it's kind of as expected because it's been on a tear lately. Alright, so today there's a lot.
You there, Pete?
So with this consolidation we've got going on, are you just waiting for a break below that?
Yeah, I'm waiting to see to make sure that this high is not going to be broken and closed above.
Yeah.
You see over here on the left on my screen. So we've got today, April 15th. We've got Goldman Sachs to release their earnings. We've got Charles Schwab. We've got a bunch of smaller ones. But yeah, HDFC Bank, Goldman Sachs, Charles Schwab, M&T, Equity Lifestyle, Properties, and then the market cap gets a lot smaller. So pre-market, after hours, time not supplied. So at least the banks are pre-market, so they should come in like towards the end of London session. HDFC, Equity, Grupo, they don't tell you when. But if they, yeah, these are the ones that are trading on NASDAQ. So if these guys come in and some of them have some surprises to the upside, then I wouldn't be surprised to see NASDAQ do a little bit of a sweep up first. Otherwise, I'd say that if we get news regarding the conflict, then that'll be a headwind for any potential upside. But it's too early to call. Okay. Cider, are you buying NAS? No, I just mentioned why. Why I'm not. Not in London anyway. I'll trade New York. The reason I trade German in London is because it's much more like you get good volatility for German in London Open. For NASDAQ, just trade it in New York session. It's much better. Morning, Alex. Okay.
45 minutes looking very strong still. 4 minutes until it closes.
Yeah, a typical price action that you see is when you get a 15-minute candle closing very bullish with a top wick like this, and then you get an inside candle, usually it fills this wick. Usually. Same thing if you get a strong bearish candle with a top wick, and then you get another bearish inside candle, then usually the whole wick will be filled. And that's why I think like it's super important, especially with these London Opens and that, is that this was a very clear area to expect a reaction. And it's just that. It is simply a reaction. It might not be the high of the day or the low of the day or anything else. Most of the time, you'll get a good reaction, first time touching in a sensitive area, and that on German, you can get, 20, 30 pips, but take something. Put it in the bag. Takes a lot of pressure off when you start trading with money you've made today, rather than trying to take a trade and then hoping it was going to be a home run from the first pitch, and then now there's negative emotions because you're in profit. Now it's back to break even. You want to keep it going, and it's just that mess of emotions. It usually doesn't end very good unless you're really, really confident in a level. If you're really confident in a level, put your order in, turn the computer off. Do I check FDAX? There's a gap in this. Is that useful? What's FDAX? Jay, no, this is German 40.
Yeah, I think that's the futures index.
Futures NASDAQ. Sorry, futures DAX. Let's have a look. DAX futures. Where's it gone?
I think maybe the answer is just no.
Oh, the gap is because there's no Asian session. The futures doesn't have an Asian session. That's why there's a gap. So if you look at German 40 chart, you got the Asian session. The futures, what it's doing is it's just, the reason there's a gap is because there's no Asian session. I think the Asian session is pretty important because Asian session shows you you're going to get price action, and Asian sessions used as liquidity a lot of the time. So I spoke with a guy. If he's watching, hi. His name's Guy as well. And had an interesting conversation, and he was trading cattle, and the chart looked pretty good. So I put live cattle here down the bottom here. It's only open very limited hours of the day as well. Spread's going to be high, but I'm actually interested for swing ideas because I hear a lot of the investing podcasts and just podcasts in general. Some of them really do talk about trading like farmland and cattle and like these other commodities. And look at this chart. So you can't scalp it, but from a swing trade idea, it's actually I'm interested. I need to explore it further.
We'll have to change the name though. Haydos cattle. Haydos.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change. I need a rebranding.
Haydos livestock.
Yeah. Cash cows.
I like it. The 45-minute candle closed, but not above the previous 45-minute HCS, short HCS.
Mm-hmm. It's holding, isn't it? It really is holding. I think this could be a good sell now, like breaking of this candle. I'd love to see this candle close.
Bearish underneath the previous low.
Yeah. You're looking to sell when buyer seems to be bullish. Depends on what time frame you're looking. So what if you're looking at this chart? So it's not out of the woods yet. Just one didn't close bearish. I'm waiting to see whether this is going to be broken. That's my real point of interest now. That if this If this gets closed above, then really not interested in looking for sells for some time. But I really want to see if this is holding at the moment. Would love to see start to create some structure and what do you think is the best instrument to trade during London session? It changes, it comes and goes. Sometimes German's excellent, sometimes gold's excellent, sometimes the currencies are excellent, but I think less is more in everything, so you don't try trade everything. I like to focus on one thing. You know, there's been plenty of times when I got frustrated with the German because it's just not seeing the moves that well. And then, you know, there's been many times that gold just sucks as well. But depends on your appetite for volatility, I think. If you're not interested in volatility, then I wouldn't be picking either indices or gold. But I like volatility, and at least with indices, you know what time the stock exchange opens, so you pretty reliable that you get volume and volatility at that time. Yeah, this is looking like it's just going to leg it higher. So we've got clean candles over here to the left, so there's nothing going on. This closes, we can close above. The sells are dead in the water for now. Yeah. Looks like it's just going to keep on making its way up. I don't want to switch to there's a good chance price just continues going up. So if you are looking to long, I don't recommend it. I think on lower time frames, you're better picking a direction and just try to work on your timing. If you're looking for sells, I think it's a bloody difficult place to look for sells now. If you're looking for longs, yeah, you know, I think there's a good chance it continues up now to the next level. Having broken above, we've had the push, we've had the sweep, and now we've closed above the high. I think it confirms those longs for a bit. So if that was in line with your bias, then yeah, I think you're onto a winner here. And 5 minutes until the close of the hour. Yeah, 15 minutes. Look at lovely bullet clean candle. So it just ate away, ate away, ate away. Never broke structure to the downside. Next zone. Maybe another 13 pips higher. I'm not taking any longs. But don't just because I'm not just because I'm not doesn't mean you shouldn't. The reason I'm not is because I don't like changing my bias. Yeah, so I'd rather stick to the same. Personally, I like to stick to the same bias and then wait for price action that's in line with it. I think it's
the way I'm looking at it now, that we're still in that zone where I've marked out a broken long hourly FU candle. So I think if the 15 minute fails to close above that opening London candle high, then we could still be in a sell maybe.
Yeah, I think it's just very dangerous given everything that's going on, because the reason I'm looking for sells was my reasoning for fundamentals. And the thing with fundamentals though, which is annoying, is that they don't tell you when. Tells me that there's a chance that equities are going to have a really difficult time to continue the strength that it's had for the last while. And we've seen, you know, price coming down.
Do you think that structure has been broken to the downside? Do you think that
No,
break is the initial sweep, or is that simply more liquidity gathering?
Yeah, I still think it's liquidity gathering, based on the 4 hour, because we never actually closed below it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, never closing below it is a problem. All right, well, it's 9 o'clock, so Zoomers, stay on. I'm going to close the YouTube streams though. Okay, so appreciate you guys. Good luck today. Trade safe. Don't over risk. Don't over trade. Really focus on your plan. Okay. If you want to hear, yeah, wait a second. my YouTube, stay on for a second. Trading Nut. I'm going to close this one down first. If you want to support my channel as well, then you'll find me on Haydos FX on YouTube. Okay. Make sure that no matter where you're watching it from, if you guys like it, give the channel, give the stream some support. It does really help. Okay. And I'll see you guys later.